Hello and welcome to week 14 of the Ray of Hope crochet along, and this week we're making the linked double crochet stitch. So this is all double crochets, but they're made so they're all linked together, which means it's a very hole free stitch and it makes a really kind of tight fabric, and it also makes quite an interesting pattern on it as well. So how do we make it? So we'll start with a foundation row of 17. So this stitch is a bit different in that our turning chains don't count as our first stitch. And it's because of the way we need to start each row. Okay, so in the second chain from your hook, insert your hook and pull up a loop. We're going to skip the next chain and go into the fourth chain from your hook. And you're going to pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops and pull through the second 2 loops, exactly like a double crochet. And that is your first stitch. Oh, I didn't say what hook size we're using, did I? We're using a 3.5mm hook for this one. Too excited to start the stitch. Okay. So our next stitch, we're going to go into this bar here. Okay, so it's halfway down your stitch and it just goes on a diagonal like that. You can see it right there. Hook through, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then go into your next chain and pull up a loop. And now we've finished the stitch as a normal double crochet. Okay, and those 2 stitches are now linked. So if you pull them apart, there's no real holes going on there. They're completely linked together. So your bar you're going through is this one here, halfway down. Hook through there, pull up a loop. Into your next chain, insert your hook and pull up a loop. Yarn over through the first 2 loops, yarn over through the second 2 loops. So your whole row of double crochet will have these bars through them. Okay, and that's all you do for this stitch. Through that bar in the centre, pull a loop into the next stitch, then yarn over and finish as you would a double crochet. And we just go through the whole row. So this is the entire piece this week. It's just linked double crochet into the next stitch and complete a double crochet. Okay, so you'll have 14 of these stitches when we get to the end. Okay, so in case you haven't seen that very well, I'm going to show you a close-up of the stitch. Okay, so let's have a close-up of the linked double crochet. So first you put your hook into the second chain from your hook and you pull up a loop. Skip the next chain and go into the fourth chain from your hook and pull up a loop. So you've got 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the second 2 loops. Okay, and this is your linked double crochet. So the bar that we go into to make the next stitch is this one here. Okay, so it goes down the side, kind of right across the middle. So into that stitch, into that loop I should say, pull up a loop, then go into your next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, then yarn over and pull through those next 2 loops. Okay, and your double crochet are now completely linked. Okay, a normal double crochet you pull apart and you know there's gaps there. I'll just bring, I've got the ray sitting here, so if you pull those double crochet apart there, you can see you've got those holes in between each stitch. With the linked double crochet you don't get that. You pull it apart and there's no gap there at all. Okay, so it's this loop here. It goes straight across the middle of your stitch. Hook into there, yarn over and pull through. Into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the second 2 loops. There you go. Okay. So that's the next one you need to pull through, and these are the bars that's left over from the other 2 stitches. There we go. Really nice dense stitch, very few holes, and it's a great way to have a nice dense fabric. Okay, so I've reached the end of my first row, and there's the link, all the linked double crochet. See, they've all got these bars right down the middle. So now we need to start our next row. So we're going to turn, I'm going to chain 2. In the second chain from your hook, you're going to put your hook through and pull through. Into your first stitch, insert your hook, pull through, and then complete as a double crochet. And that's your first stitch. Those chain 2s don't count as a stitch, they're just there to help you form your first stitch. So same way as before from here on, so into that bar and yarn over and pull through. Into your next stitch, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, pull through your first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through your second 2 loops. So you see now we've turned, you can't see the bars in row 1. So it's quite an interesting look because you'll have these bars only on alternating rows. So I think it's quite a pretty stitch. It's very useful being able to make a fabric with few holes if you want something really, really warm and cosy. But it's an interesting way to form it. I have to say I do like this one. And once you get used to how the stitches are made, it works up quite quickly. And so that is all there is to this week's stitch. So every row is just a linked double crochet. You'll have 14 stitches in every row, and you're going to be making 40 rows. So I'm going to carry on with this, and I shall be back when I finish so we can put the slip stitch border on. Okay, so I finished my 40 rows of the linked double crochet, and you can see it makes this really nice kind of ridge pattern all the way down. So it's a completely flat stitch, and if you pull it apart there's no holes at all. So if you want something that's hole free, then this is the perfect stitch. I just think these make such a nice pattern. So we have 40 rows in total. So for your slip stitch border, you go up to a 4mm hook. So in the sides of every row you're going to make 2 slip stitches, and then on the short ends you're going to make a slip stitch in each stitch across. So the short ends will have 14 slip stitches, and your long sides will have 80 slip stitches. And once that's done, you can weave in all your ends and join it onto the rest of your pieces. So I hope you enjoy that stitch, and I shall see you next week for the next piece. Bye for now.